Welcome to Shifting Impressions, Conversations with the Realm of Beings, with me, Gretta Chamberlain, and the Realm of Beings. Shifting Impressions, which is one of the vehicles that supports the transmission of the Realm of Beings, is here to assist you in delving into your being by providing numerous topics and discussions for you to intake as you deepen your connection with your inner world. Shifting Impressions is here to assist you in strengthening yourself as you excavate to understand your true nature. Join us today and learn to shift your mindset, shift your thoughts, and shift your focus to recreate your life and produce a new you. Shifting Impressions starts now.
Well, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whenever you're listening or watching this. Welcome to Shifting Impressions, Conversations with the Realm of Beings. I'm Carol, and I'm here with Greta and the Realm of Beings. We're here, and we're very happy to be here every Friday on Transformation Network at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, 8 a.m. Pacific Time. Listeners, thank you for being part of this experience. These conversations will help you look at your life and your creation of reality to see what you're creating, how it shows up, and help you to gain perspective and shift what you are creating. So welcome if you're new to the podcast. Each week, Greta gives us a quote from the Realm of Beings so that we can discuss with each other. And later on in the program, the realm will weigh in also with their perspective on it. This week, our quote is, "Stop and see that you are learning through each moment of your physical life." Good morning, Greta.
Good morning, Carol, and good morning, everybody.
This one struck a chord with me because it brought a memory back to me of a couple of decades ago when I did not know about creation of reality, although I did know about learning lessons, just didn't understand that I was creating the means on how to learn those lessons. And I went through a time period where just it seemed like I had a lot of bad luck. You know, I was running late for work all the time. I'd get in trouble at work. I would get in minor car accidents. It just seemed like everything. And I remember thinking, why is all this bad stuff happening to me? And now that I've learned about creation of reality, I look back at that time, even though we know there's no time, and I realize what I was feeling and going through at that point of my life and what lessons I needed to learn. And the fact that I was creating it became crystal clear to me. It also brought back a memory a couple of years ago, someone that I worked with who she seemed to be getting a lot of fender bender accidents also. And she would get very flustered and all this stuff happening. And I remember one day a deer ran into her car while she was at a stoplight. Ooh. And she just was like flipping out, going, you know, so upset. And I was talking her down. I said, I can come get you. No, I just need time. And she came in and I tried to comfort her. And at one point I said to her, so let's discuss why you keep creating these accidents. And she literally flipped out on me. Didn't understand creation reality at all, took no responsibility that these things were happening to her due to her doing it, blaming everything outside of her. So, you know, I just took a step back and said, you know, just be peaceful. You know, you can't convince anyone to change their minds if they're not willing to. And what that made.
We lost you, Carol. Listeners, something is happening to Carol's internet at this point. And she has, I think she's back with us again. Yeah.
Yeah, sorry, that's happening.
Can you repeat what you just said, Carol?
What was the last thing you heard from me?
Oh my goodness. Telling us about the lady, the
with
deer.
The car, with the deer,
right,
yeah.
and that you had talked her down.
And when she came in, I tried to ask her, what can we do? Like, let's discuss what we can do, why you keep creating these accidents. And she went bonkers, like did not accept creation of reality, just totally blamed outside forces for her misfortunes, and did not want to see that these things were happening because she was creating them. And it makes me think with this quote, to anyone who is new to the creation of reality concept, if you are understanding what we're discussing here, take a look back at periods of your life when maybe you weren't happy, or maybe you had some bad things happening to you, and look at it through new glasses or new eyes, and understand that helps you learn the lessons that you're meant to learn when you realize you created these things.
You know, and I want to add on to what you just said. When you said meant to learn, that meant to learn can be translated with the idea, with the fact that we created the lessons. See, some people say that there's a contract that we made. Myself personally, I just don't deal with the concept of these contracts, because I know that we start creating our reality before we are even conceived.
Right.
You know, and I think that was a class I taught in Deerfield, Florida, you know, this year. I taught that class there, and that creation of reality before birth is the name of it. But that is when we decide we've chosen the lessons that we're going to learn. Now, when I say we, now it gets really kind of interesting, because I'm not talking about you, me, Carol, Sierra, Dr. Pat, you know, our mothers, our parents. I'm talking about that we are the force. And the force has different aspects of it. So one of the aspects of it is the incarnate. That's a stage, an incarnate stage. And that is where we set the lessons. Because as the force, we're learning these lessons not just for our individual selves, but for the force itself, because we are all part of the force. I don't care what species we are. We could be reptilian, but we are still all of the force. So the force then decides, what do I want to experience this time? You know, how do I want to experience that? So that choice through us is made. It's like we're one. We are one with it. So therefore the lessons are chosen in a togetherness, not in a separateness. So if I can say mine lesson is to learn to be joyful, then that's also the lesson of the force, learning to be joyful. It's the experiences of the force. I've used the term experiential evolution, right? Because the force is experiencing itself through itself, and we are itself. So when it's experiencing that, it's experiencing that through everything, not just a human being. There are so many universes here, everybody. It goes into infinity. If anybody tells you there's only 12, if somebody tells you there's 100, they don't understand that the force is infinite. There are infinite numbers of universes composed of infinite number of individuals. I didn't say people, because people only refers to being human. I'm talking about individuals. An ant is an individual. A reptilian individual, cognitive being, you know. The Anunnakians, another species outside of Earth, okay? That we are all the force. however we present ourselves. See, presenting ourselves, we present ourselves. I hope I'm not deviating from the quote, but we present ourselves by way of our personalities, which we've chosen by, how do we choose them? We choose them because we've chosen the parents we want. They're going to be the ones that are going to support me the most in my lessons. So I'm going to use these two people to transport myself into this reality.
So that speaks to the part of the quote that says your physical life.
Absolutely. You're determining that. You're determining your physical life as a humanoid, because there's certain things, there's certain ways of thinking, there are certain lessons that go with you when you are humanoid. When you are another species, you could be an ant. Then the experiences of that ant are going to be different than the experiences of a humanoid, but an ant is a being, a viable being of the force. Everything, it makes it really simplistic. Everything is the force. You know, the personalities we choose, though, add the, you know, if you're cooking a meal and you say, oh, it needs a little bit of more salt on there, I'm going to add a little bit more salt. So then the personality says, well, I'm going to add this personality to the group. I want to see how the group handles it. You know, like Jeffrey Dahmer is a good example. You know, I mean, Jeffrey Dahmer is a good example. People would think of him as being heinous because of what he did, but he was a personality. In fact, is a personality, because once you come into existence, you don't die. So he's not dead. We just assume he is because he's not in this reality. He checked out of this reality, went to another reality, but that doesn't mean he didn't change his personality. You know, he could change his personality in the next reality or the next transitional portal that he's going to be a Catholic priest. It's going to be holier than a thou. You understand me? So absolutely. It's the personalities that give us these lessons and support others in learning the lessons in this physicality.
And the whole create, support, create, bringing up some personality like Jeffrey Dahmer or any of those types of personalities, Hitler, for instance. The rest of us are learning the lesson of no judgment, because technically there's no good or evil. There's just experience.
Oh yeah, definitely. And you know, that is a challenging,
very challenging
thought to understand, that there's no evil.
Yes.
You know, there's only the isness of something, because we've, you know, I told you, Carol, that I've been looking at the internet, and I've been looking at all kinds of stuff, you know, it's been an awakening for me, because I haven't really gone into, what is it, conspiracy theories. Yeah. I haven't gone into other ways of looking at the Great Reset. Those that are not familiar with the Great Reset, that is a process that's been placed in play by other humanoids that feel that they want to control. Okay, now the thing is that you could put the Great Reset under conspiracy theories if you want to, but it's very interesting. But the bottom line is this: when I was looking, I was talking to Carol about, we need to do a podcast on the devil. And on evil, and we're coming to do that. It's going to be an interesting podcast, so I hope everybody, once we do it, look out for it. It'll be on our website. By the way, you can go on our website, which is therealmofbeings.com. Danny's been really working really hard to get us a very good website, and I think he's accomplished that. But in there is a blog. So I'd like you all to start looking, go on there and look at that blog. The one that's there for this month is on emotions themselves and how emotions work with us. But it's brought in a very as simplistic a way as possible. And what I mean by that is not getting into all the nuances of how your neurons work. And I leave that to other people who do a very excellent job at discussion of how creation of reality evolves through your brain and all of that stuff. So I don't feel that that's my responsibility at this point in time to bring that forward. That's another person's responsibility, and I think he's doing a wonderful job at it. But the thing is that we create these things for experiences, but the experiences that we are creating are not real. We've been given, as humanoids, let's talk about humanoids. We've been given the insight of feeling, touching, smelling,
The five senses.
Yes. We came here as humanoids with that to help us create realities that appear to be real to us. They appear that way. To be in war, and you're a soldier that's in war, male or female soldier in war, if you watch what the devastation of the war is, so we'd say, oh my God, look at this. Look at this. This is terrible. But the thing is, it's not real. It's not real. Now, once we believe it's real, then there are individuals, people, I'm going to talk people now.
Okay.
Individuals that want to create mayhem. They want to create that mayhem here. Now, how do we deal with somebody who's creating mayhem? How do we deal with that person? Because there are people all over the world that are creating mayhem. I mean, you can look at YouTube. YouTube is a wonderful vehicle, as far as I'm concerned, that shows all kinds of things that I wouldn't have even thought of. And I'm looking at it and I'm going, wow, look at that. They're talking about invasions of extraterrestrials, they're talking about how the economy is being destroyed. They're talking about all these things.
And they're always blaming someone for it.
Absolutely.
They're not understanding that they're creating it too.
Absolutely. But see, guess what? When they blame somebody, that means then we got to get rid of that person. We got to get rid of that person, or we got to get rid of those people. We're holding them responsible for realities that we have contributed to.
It's like that global consciousness idea.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. Because see, we can do it has so many different names, but I'm going to use a collective consciousness. I'm going to use that. So we come together as groups of people to create certain things together. But inside that, let's say African American people who went through the process of slavery here. Okay. All right. As a collective group, we created this experience called slavery. But inside that collective group, we are still individuals. So my experience in slavery will be different from another person's experience in slavery. So we have this collective, but inside that collective, we have individual experiences of the collective. You see?
It's a matter of freedom of choice or free will of what you
Absolutely.
choose to believe.
Still, absolutely. Because when Africans were taken into slavery here and then brought here into South America, Central America, North America, they were brought into all those different places. They decided as a group, okay, we're going to come into slavery and we're going to be brought, I'm going to create to go to North America. The next person I'm going to create to be dropped off in Central America. Okay, I'm going to be created to go into what is now Brazil, So those were the individual creations of reality within that collective of slavery.
Now, when we're talking like a collective, like people, I'm going to use World War II as an example because I've been watching a lot of History Channel. We look at it today and we see what was happening with the concentration camps and the genocide, and we're all appalled by it since World War II ended.
Absolutely.
And I've heard many people say, how did the people allow this to happen? And the truth is, most people, the individuals in Germany, they didn't know this was going on. Now, if they had been aware of it, what could they have actually done to change that reality for those people? Because not everybody believed what Hitler was saying, but they didn't understand the extent of what was actually happening at the time.
Right, they weren't aware of it. At least many of them were aware, but they did not want to face or think that somebody would do something like that.
True.
Take a whole group of people and try to just destroy them all in one swoop. Who would have thought that somebody would
happen throughout history, though?
Oh yeah, for real, for real. Everybody has a turn. Everybody's got a turn, going through that. But one thing it does, it makes us stronger. It makes us stronger. Now, Dr. Braveheart created the terminology, and I hope I get it right, historical trauma. She's a clinical psychologist. I'm sure she's written several books, but she coined the word historical trauma. And what they found that they looked at Jewish people, they looked at their children, that the children did not go through the Holocaust, but yet the children carry that. It's an epigenetic carrying.
It actually does. It goes into the gene structure and is passed on through the generations.
Right. So it's epigenetics.
Right.
Historical trauma. And there's a look at the Armenian group of people in Europe. They're still going through challenges. They've gone through genocide experiences. I mean, this was right here in Europe, right in this present moment, you see. So it's taking place, with that. And genocide, hanging women from poles in the nude, just watching them hang, and you just walk down the street and you see all the Armenian women that they've captured hanging like that. That is a heinous thing, but what we must do now, what is, because see, after I was looking at all these YouTube stuff, I said, good God, I put my head down and I said to the realm, what do you want me to do with this? I asked them, I said, there is so much here. What do we want to do with this? But then the one thing that they go back to it all the time, Carol.
Love yourself unconditionally.
Absolutely. That is the only way right now. And I'm not even going to go out on a limb here. I'm just going to say that this is what it is. You have to learn to love yourself, because you can't love anybody else until you love yourself. Now, let's get into oneness. When you love yourself, because we are all connected, your love must stream to us. It's energy.
Right.
So it's not about, let's sit down and let's pray for peace. No, it's not about praying for peace. Let's be peace.
That makes perfect sense.
We have to be it, not pray for it. When you're praying for it, you don't believe you have it.
That's an external force then. You're not understanding that it's still within us.
Absolutely.
Gretta, we're going to take our break in a moment, so
Okay.
we can have the realm continue this conversation from their perspective. It sounds very interesting to look at it that way. Everyone, again, thank you for tuning into Transformation Network, watching Shifting Impressions. We will be back momentarily. Welcome back, listeners. We are at that portion of the program where the realm of beings comes and discusses the quote that they've given, Gretta. And this has been a very passionate conversation. Realm, are you with us?
Yes, we're here and we are ready to discuss this quote.
As a reminder to everyone, the quote is, "Stop and see that you are learning through each moment of your physical life." And as I said, Greta and I have had some passionate discussion on this already. One of my points to make was about viewing our historical events, both personally and globally, through a new way of looking as creation of reality, and understanding it from that perspective. It really changes what you think about what happened historically.
Absolutely, absolutely. Because what you see is not always what is.
And none of it is real anyway, right?
Absolutely. You're in a hologram, what humanoids call hologram, and you don't realize it. Each one of you is in your own hologram. Each one of you is in your own little box. But inside that box, because you are in control of your creation of reality, inside that box, you put the people, you put the experiences, you keep adding to the box. What you want to experience as children, what you want to experience as adults. Who do you want to experience? Some of you may be in relationships with people, be it that it's an intimate relationship or it's just a relationship. You go, where did I ever, or how did I ever create that person to be with me? Many of you, we know you're asking yourselves that question, but you put that person in your box, you see. Because why?
That's how we learn. That's how we're learning.
Absolutely.
And this quote, as I told Greta and the listeners earlier, really struck a chord in me of looking back to periods of my life before I knew about creation of reality and wondering why, bad things, quote unquote, were happening to me on a regular basis. And now that I look at those periods of life through the eyes of creation of reality, it's making me understand the clarity of the lessons that I'm meant to learn. And I see that it was helpful in my life, if that makes sense to you.
But see, that's good thing,
Yes, I think so.
because you release the impact of the low vibrational intake of it. You release that. See, many of us go down into it and say, woe is me. You know, Greta's forever talking about going down into the rabbit hole, sitting down there with Alice, you know, and then how deep you go is then you add not only Alice to the tea party, but then you add the Mad Hatter, and then you add the rabbit and whoever else to the tea party. So you're getting deeper and deeper and deeper into it. Rise up, because it's not real. And I know that that is difficult. We as the realm understand that that is difficult for many of you to say, what? I'm experiencing this. I feel the pain of it. I feel the physical pain of it, or I feel the emotional pain of it. We understand that. But if you're in that experience, we encourage you to do a 360-degree turn and say to yourselves, I am healthy. I am a wonderful person. I am appreciated. Yes, because you're going to create that.
And it all begins with you. You can't sit around waiting for somebody else to tell you you're wonderful. You have to know you're wonderful.
Absolutely. You are the ones responsible for the creation of reality that you experience. You're calling it personal reality. We could give another name to it, but let's just call it personal reality. You're in that box. You're putting everything in that box. You don't want something in that box, snatch it out. Snatch it out of that box. Understand that you have the creation and the creativity to put it in the box. So therefore, use that same energy and take it out of the box. Don't listen to others who want to support you in being downtrodden. Like if you have a cancer experience, you go to the doctor. Some people will go there and they say, okay, you can beat this. Some people will have a cancer where they say, well, you're finished. You only have 3 months to live. Oh, hooey. You are the one that defines how long you're going to be here. Now, if you want to use that as your means of exiting into your transitional portal, your next transitional portal, then so be it. That is your choice. However, if you don't want to exit by way of that, then change it. See yourself healthy at all times. See, but the big thing, Carol, you and Greta were talking about it before we came on to discuss this with you, and we want to give you support, the both of you support in that. The audience did not hear that, but you were talking about the answer to all this mayhem here is for each one of you to love yourselves and recognize yourselves as divine beings. You are divine beings. Why are you divine? You are divine because you are the force. You are the force, that which created all of existence, that which created what you call God. And there are many types of gods throughout this universe. people or individuals will call them different names, but they're there nonetheless. And they have responsibilities to the universe, just like the ones here have responsibilities for the universe, not just for the solar system, not just for the galaxy, but for the entire universe. And you have individuals who are responsible for the solar system. One word that they used back in the 1920s was logo, or plural logoi, meaning many gods. Many gods.
And there were civilizations that always believed in many gods, even though they didn't see them the way we see them today.
Absolutely.
They still recognized that there were different energies.
Absolutely, because that's all we are. We are nothing but energy. Inside that box is filled, within your box is tremendous energy. There's more energy inside that box than an atomic bomb. And guess what? It's you. You're in that box. You have more energy than an atomic bomb. I can even make it more explicit. You have more energy than 5 atomic bombs put together. You just don't recognize that. But the one thing that we really want you to recognize through this podcast is for you to love yourselves. That is the way you will change your reality. Love yourself, each one of you. You don't want a war? Then start to love yourself. Can you imagine what you would create if each being, let's say each human being here, loved themselves?
Oh, that would be
when you love yourself, you love all unconditionally, and you move into oneness.
That would be utopia. It's really what everyone says they want, but not everyone is practicing that.
That's because they rather think of themselves as lowly beings.
And separate beings.
Absolutely. Separate from each other. I'm not like that person down the road. I have a PhD. That person has only graduated from elementary school. Huh. Huh. You are the same.
It's just talking about separation, how people and most times I think it's because that they want to exert power over others.
They believe that.
They do believe that. And
they believe that, Carol. They believe that. That is a misnomer. Nobody has power over another individual. Nobody. You don't even have power over an ant. You don't even have power over the birds that you see flying around. They have their own power. If you want to think power. We like to use the word strength.
I like that word too. We do have the ability to support, however. So
absolutely.
Maybe we need to be cognizant of what we're supporting.
If it's not love, if it's not incorporating love of self, of love of you, loving yourself, then you're doing something else. See, it's always to love self. Now, what does that mean, you see? That means part of that loving self means that I understand I create my own reality. I understand that everything that's in my box, I have put here, regardless of what it looks like. I have put it in my box with me. and I am experiencing what is in my box. If I want to experience war, I must put war in my box. If I only want to experience peace and joy, I will put that in my box. Anything that doesn't help me to experience love and joy, I'm not going to put in my box. There may be personalities that when you get with them, you say, holy cow, how did I don't, ooh, that person, I don't think I want to be with that person. That is okay. That means that that person doesn't need to be in your box because that person is not supporting you in loving yourself.
That's the key.
If you're with a mate that's slapping you upside your face and knocking you around, then guess what? You're not loving yourself, and you've brought that person into that box to do that for you because you want to emphasize and teach yourself, I am not worthy. But once you understand that you're worthy and you've got somebody in that box that's not supporting you in that, snatch it out. Snatch them out. You have to go somewhere else. You have to go to somebody else's box. I don't need that anymore. I'm loving myself. I'm appreciating myself as a wonderful being. I am appreciating myself as being in divinity, a divine state of beingness. Yes.
So we are sort of putting parameters around what we create. I mean, I know basically using abuse, like you just mentioned, I knew, it wasn't me personally, thank goodness, but I knew a specific woman who was in a very abusive relationship. And as her friends, we kind of gathered together and tried to help her come out of that relationship. And then she turned around and came right back to it. And I think not only did she not love herself, but I think she was experiencing fear because she was familiar with the abuse. So not being with it made her more uncomfortable because she was fearing that she still wasn't worthy of love because she didn't love herself. So we have to put that parameter about what are we defining as supporting us and loving ourselves.
Absolutely. You have to.
How do we do that without judgment, though?
Because eventually you're going to see that you're tired of an experience. I'm tired of this. I don't want to experience this anymore. I don't want to create this anymore.
Okay.
So, but part of that is thanking the individual or individuals who supported you in your lesson, you see. Because when you go through a process, most people go through the process of forgiveness. They forgive the person or they forgive the individuals. But that stops you right there. Because when you stop at, okay, I'm just going to forgive you, then you're not recognizing that you're the one that created it in the first place. So therefore, you don't have anybody to forgive except yourself. But we're still, nonetheless, people are in forgiveness. It's all over. Forgive this person, forgive that person. But you want to move past that forgiveness. You want to move past that forgiveness to, I thank you for supporting me in my lessons. I thank you. I thank you for supporting me in the lessons that I have chosen to experience. That is what is going on. So it's not necessarily just sitting and saying, I forgive you, as it is, thank you. Thank you for supporting me in this. I thank you. You have been a part of me learning to love and appreciate myself.
That's the part of the quote about learning through each moment of your physical life.
Absolutely, because each moment is a new reality. If I clapped our hands, that's a reality. If I clapped it again, that's a reality. I can go boom, 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 boom. Each time I do boom, 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 I am creating another reality. That's how fast it is, or faster. Because to clap my hands is slow. Or I should say to clap Gretta's hands.
It's more of an instantaneous occurrence.
All the time.
All the time.
You're never not creating things inside the box. You create your own houses, you create your own bedrooms, you create going out to dinner, you create the restaurant. That's inside your box. But we don't want you to think of the box as a boundary. We're using the box for you to be able to visually understand what's really going on with you. Okay. But there is no boundary.
And there's no box, basically.
There is no box, really.
We're getting ready to wind down. I just would like to, before we say goodbye, I'd like to remind everyone about Gretta's workshop coming up in Mount Laurel, New Jersey on October 1st at the Westin Hotel. Anyone who is in New Jersey, New York, Philadelphia area, please come. It's a holistic health and healing expo of which Gretta will be part of. It is free. Again, it's the Westin Mount Laurel. You can look it up on therealmofbeings.com. You can also check us out on Shifting Impressions under Instagram and under Facebook. So you can revisit the quotes in both of those media places, as well as seeing the podcast on the YouTube channel. Is there anything else, Realm, in the next 30 seconds you want to say?
Yes, we are, Gretta, too. Thank you.
I know, I slipped there.
Well, that shows that you're seeing the oneness of Gretta and us.
Good.
We just want to remind everybody, as we do every week, love each one of you. I don't care what condition you are experiencing or what you have created. Start to love or continue to love yourselves. This is the biggie. This is the way you change your reality, really, is through love of self.
It's how we do our shifting, as it were. All right, everybody. Thank you for joining us this week on Transformation Network. I'm Carol, and on behalf of Gretta, the Realm of Beings, and myself, we'd like to thank you. We will see you next week. Enjoy your weekend, and until we create each other again.
Once again, thanks for joining us at Shifting Impressions, Conversations with the Realm of Beings on TransformationTalkRadio.com. As you have explored today's creation of reality experience with the realm and me, Gretta, each of you is being supported by us in further developing the understanding that you are not just an individual existing in linear time and space, but a multi-dimensional force of infinite possibilities who is connected to all. So begin to create the realities you want. Join us every Friday at 8 a.m. Pacific Time and 11 a.m. Eastern Time on Shifting Impressions at TransformationTalkRadio.com. So long until we create each other again next Friday.